Welcome back to the channel. My name is Douglas, and in today's video, I'm very excited to announce the release of my worship program pack number 2 for the Nord Stage 3. I started working on this last year, and I've put a lot of months into tweaking, adjusting, and building up these programs, playing them in my church on a regular basis, making sure that they're good to go so that when you guys get them, you can just start playing and using them in whatever setting, your church, at home. They sound great with headphones on, but I've also tweaked them so they sound good through a front of house system. Some of the EQ settings I've done work well with systems that have subwoofers, and I've put a lot of effort into getting these to sound good through a front of house, and that's kind of where I do most of my playing. So as I played live, I would make adjustments and save these sounds. So this is kind of a culmination of months and months of playing and work to get these to the point where I'm finally ready to share them with you. Now, this program pack includes what I'm calling my perfect pad sound, something that I kind of came up with using sounds within the keyboard in the synth section, making adjustments over the last few months. And it's something that I use now every single time I play. I love this pad sound. It's so dynamic, and I'm excited to show you that in this video. Now, if you've already got my worship program pack 1, thank you so much for all of the support. I've sent out hundreds of those packs across the world, and I know that it's being used in churches across the country and worldwide. So thank you so much. Huge thank you for all of your support, and I hope that you enjoy this worship program pack 2 as well. Now, you can find this on my website, dsoundman.com. I've put a link in the description below as well. You can also get my worship program pack 1 there as well if you don't have that already. And in the rest of the video, I'm going to jump in and talk about the 5 sounds that are included in this program pack, walk you through them. I will say that all of the programs are built with sounds that come with the keyboard from the factory. Now, the piano, I'm using the Royal Grand 3D, but I do recommend downloading and adding the white grand to your Nord Stage 3 if you haven't already. And you can change the piano sound on these programs to that white grand. The reason I didn't have that set is because not everyone uses the white grand. And so I wanted this to be usable for those of you that have just a factory keyboard, and these programs should work perfectly for you. So the first program in this pack is one called Piano Flute Pad, and this one is a layered sound with a piano and a pad with a little bit of a fluty note nature to it. So there's a couple pads layered in here. Every single one of these programs is somewhat tied to the modulation wheel over here. Now you can use this wheel to bring either strings in or pads in, and I'll show you how this works with each of the programs. So let's jump right in. I'm going to play you a little bit of the piano flute pad, and this modulation wheel brings in an extra pad which kind of helps fill and round things out. So we're going to start with that off. I'm going to start playing. I'm going to fade that in as I play. So again, piano sound there with a bit of a fluty pad and another pad that kind of rounds it out that you can bring in with the modulation wheel. This is the only program that doesn't use my perfect pad. The rest of them use that pad sound, but this one, I kind of developed this pad sound using a flute, tweaking the heck out of that flute to make it into this pad type sound, filling it in with some supporting other instruments. So that one is piano flute pad. The second one is a string program, and the modulation wheel brings in a whole nother layer of strings here. So we're going to start again with the modulation wheel down. It's a bit of a softer, almost a string pad type sound. So again, you can use that modulation wheel to bring in that extra sharper string sound to help fill that and round out that sound. This one works really well if you have a lot of other accompaniment and your primary role maybe at your church is just kind of filling in with strings or pads. This one can work really well. As the song builds, you can bring in that extra string sound and help fill that sound out and help build the song when you're playing live. The last three are all different combinations and configurations of the perfect pad sound. And this first one here is just the straightforward piano perfect pad sound. This is pretty much what I use 90% of the time when I'm playing at my church. And I use the white grand for this. Again, I included the Royal Grand 3D, but if you have the white grand, you can always change that using the selector and move to the white grand. But again, Royal Grand 3D, this is how it sounds. The modulation wheel either brings the pad completely out or brings it in. So now there's a lot of range to this pad sound and it swells. And so if you notice, the higher I play, the more breathy the pad sound gets. So if I play up here, and then down low, so you can kind of play with this, and I've gotten to the point where I'm always changing that layer of pad as I'm playing. So I'll go in, the busier I play, the more I tend to back the pad off. Then you can kind of bring it in as it starts to get quiet. Now there's some other cool things you can do with this. So sometimes I'll pull the piano section out and I'll start to fade in this at the start of a song. And then sometimes I'll bring that piano in, but I'll put a soft timbre on it. Again, very powerful in the dynamics you can get between the piano, the different timbres of the piano, the pad, bringing that in and out, and varying where you play, because this pad sound, it kind of morphs and changes depending on which range you're playing it. So play around with that. That is the third one I use all the time with the white grand. And I use that in pretty much every song. There's a few other variations here. So I've got one that's set up here. This fourth one is set up as a droning sound. And what's cool about this, if you go to layer B, you'll see that keyboard hold is on. So we have a split point set right here. And so this top octave is set with the string sound only. The piano is from this split point down. So what we can do is we can play one note or a series of notes. So I can hit the D note here, and then I can fade that in. And you'll notice it's holding that without me holding the sustain pedal, without me doing anything. And then I can play the piano, which is down in this bottom portion of the split point, over that droning pad sound. Now, if I want to change that, I can play a new note and it'll replace the other one. So in that case, I didn't have to worry about changing the pad, and I could play the piano as busy as I wanted, and the pad sound would do its thing. Now you'll notice it's still holding that, so to turn it off, we can press this KB hold on the B panel, and that'll turn off the sound. Now to get that back, press KB hold, play your new note, and there you go. So droning sound split between the piano and the pad, and it allows you to focus on piano playing without worrying too much about the pad sound. It can also give some cool effects too, because you find a note that kind of underlines the chords in the song, and it provides this nice little droning pad sound in there. Now, the last one is another combination using the perfect pad and the mellow upright. Now, there's another upright on here called the Pearl upright. They came out with a Pearl upright recently, and the reason I didn't include it with this program pack is because not everyone's going to have that new one. So again, the mellow upright is one that comes from the factory, but feel free to swap that out with a piano of your choice. This pad sounds beautiful with an upright sound, so let's give this a shot. So there you go. Those are the 5 programs in this program pack number 2. Again, really excited to get this pad sound in your hands so you can use it at your church. I've found it to be very powerful in our worship services, and it just fits really well in the mix. I've put a lot of time into tweaking this so it fits into the mix with the accompaniment. We have a full band that we play with, but I've played this just by itself, starting off songs and everything, and it fits in well, and it works really well under a lot of different situations. So again, check out my website, dsoundman.com, link in the description below. I hope you enjoy this program pack. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Stay inspired and keep making that music.